All right, so hello everybody again. My name is Galina. I went to Gulf Coast here and I got my associate degree in Gulf Coast in anthropology. I later on went to University of Florida to complete my bachelor's in anthropology. Eventually I ended up in FSU as an employee of the library and as a graduate of FSU Master Information Sciences. I hold Masters in Information Sciences. So unfortunately, today it's not. I'm not happy to be here. I cannot say that I'm really happy to talk about it today because in the middle of last week, my family was fleeing the war zone and preparing for the worst. This is a picture of my niece. She's 4 years old, and I was able to see her for the first time last summer, and it was in August. She still is 4 years old. She's going to be turning 5 years old on March 10th. And we went to Kamenets-Podilsky Castle, which is in Western Ukraine, and she was just standing there and looking at this picture of a battlefield. And I thought I just had to take that picture. She was just looking at it so intently. And after everything started, I just started thinking that she's not looking at a picture anymore. What she's seeing today is no longer a picture. It's just a reality. And she's not even 5 yet. This is her fleeing the war zone with her parents, with OSCE cars trying to leave Ukraine. And this is how many people were trying to leave, and you can see flags barely over there, and those were OSCE vehicles.
What is OSCE?
It's a European observation. I forgot that.
Yeah, European observation.
Yes, so they usually, if there is a crisis in the country in Europe, they would come and they would observe and report on what's happening. And they no longer are reporting because they're fleeing the country. What was Vladimir Putin said that the invasion was a liberation. It's not a war, it's liberation. Russian soldiers are actually forbidden to use the word war. They can only call it liberation. They are told that when they would come to Ukraine, they were told, we would greet them with flowers because we want to be liberated from the West. Ukrainians are jumping in front of their tanks to stop them. They recently, a few days ago, and I'm sorry if I don't remember the exact date because honestly, all these days just kind of blurred together. They couldn't fight military anymore, so they started shooting civilians. Schools, kindergartens, hospitals, they specifically targeted civilians. Residential buildings, people's cars, another residential building. These twins were born in a bunker. Since the conflict started, I think there are at least 6 babies that were born in bunkers without proper sanitation in this time of war. And these are all of the vehicles that are coming from Russia into Ukrainian cities and towns and villages. Ukraine has, you all probably heard about Chernobyl and the Chernobyl catastrophe of 1986. Ukraine has a nuclear plant that's a lot bigger than Chernobyl. It's in Zaporizhia. And that plant already was near that plant, there was a rocket that landed. If that rocket hit that plant, there would be a catastrophe that of unimaginable scale. It would be a lot worse than Chernobyl. On that note, also, Chernobyl, only one reactor blew up in 1986. There are 3 more, and Russia seized them, and we don't know what's going to happen. They recently also hit the nuclear waste facility, and our firefighters are unable to determine what is the rate of radiation there because they cannot get there.
So are these people?
These people are standing in front of the Zaporizhia nuclear plant. They're trying to block Russian vehicles from coming close to the nuclear plant. Because if that nuclear plant going to be, if it's going to be touched by a rocket or anything, that's going to be the end of Europe, the entire Europe, not just Ukraine. These are people in my village, and they're collecting food. They're collecting provisions for army. They were working nonstop since everything started. And this is my niece. She's in Carpathians. They were able to take her all the way to Carpathian Mountains. And this is a picture from today where she's hiding in a bunker. Over there in the middle is her mom, and this is my cousin and my aunt. And this is my family before everything started. My brother's family. So right now I would like to introduce my friend. I grew up with her in a village in central Ukraine.
Hello. Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. Halia, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, so my name is Anya. As Halia told you, I'm her friend. We used to go to school together, and we were close. Now I am in the center of Ukraine. I used to live in Kyiv, but we had to leave the city because of the war, which started 7 days ago. So I would like you to ask me questions because it's hard to talk. I mean, it will be much easier if you ask me something and I will give you the information what I have.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so if you have questions.
Hi, we talked, I'm David. We talked yesterday. Good to see
Yes,
you again.
David.
You're
Good
helping.
to see you too. Good to see
So
you too. David.
I wanna ask some things like about everyday life. Like, do you have food in your house right now?
About everyday life. Okay, so my everyday life is quite safe because I'm in a safe place here. What we do, we are constantly reading news. We're reading what new happened. What happened in our country during the day, because the situation is constantly changing. We hear about new rockets fell on our cities, about new dead people, about these victims. So we constantly read the news, but we also try to, you know, as it's a village house, we try to do something around the house. Today we collected food for our army. Halia showed you the picture of our village council. All people from the village brought what they have: vegetables, oil, sugar, flour, anything we can help with. Also, we try to, actually that's what we do. We do work around the house, we read news, and we help with what we can. Our men from the village, they joined the territory defense because these territory defense units were formed right away after the war started, and every man wanted to join them. And by the way, around 80,000 men working abroad returned to our country to protect it, to defend it. So we cook food for men. from people of the territory defense, and that is my day. Sometimes I go to the shop with my friend Nastya. It's also Hala's friend. I try to talk with to be in contact with my friends from Kharkiv, Kyiv, Odessa. I have them all over Ukraine. So that's the reality now. All days are alike. That's it.
So you said you go to the shop with your friends. Like what shop is that? What do they sell there? And other shops are still open in your village? So you can go and let's say buy toothpaste or something like that?
In our village, there is actually one shop, and you can mostly you buy food there, like bread, I don't know, maybe some sweets. Actually, it's bread, sweets, sausage, maybe oranges. That's what we have in our shop. But it's a village not far from, we call it Rayon Center. It's something bigger than a village. So we go to it's called Holovanivsk. We usually go there because there are more shops, even 2 supermarkets, and there you can buy everything. You can buy food, you can buy shampoo, toothpaste, and other things you need, like I don't know, cosmetics, food. Not food, I mean, not food.
When you drive there, are there checkpoints? Are there like what? Well, that's one question. And then the other question is, where are Russian troops? Like from you, what are the closest Russian troops?
Okay, so the location of my village, it's actually, I can say it's far and not far. It's quite remote from all the main roads. We are located between Uman and Pervomaisk. By the way, Uman was shelled. It was shelled the first when the war started. We are between these 2 cities, but we are quite remote in the very heart. I mean, we are far from these roads, and we don't see the troops. We don't see military vehicles. When we go from our village to Holovanivsk, there is one checkpoint. We pass it, and that's it. They don't ask us anything because they know us. Everybody knows each other here in the village, even in Holovanivsk. But what my friend told me, he's from this territory defense, because I said, we don't, it's like nothing is happening here where I am. He told me that it's good because what we see on the main road, on one of the main roads, it's very frightening, very scary, and these troops, but our Ukrainian troops, they go on those roads. I mean, from Mykolaiv, it's the road from Mykolaiv, from Kyiv to Mykolaiv, from Kyiv to Odessa. This is so our military troops use these roads, but in our region we didn't see Russian troops. They just didn't reach our place because they are stopped. They are stopped in Mykolaiv. They are stopped in Kirovograd region. So no one has reached us yet. So I didn't see anything.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't see any, period. So somebody was asking, what do you want people to understand? Like if, you say, okay, you're going to talk to how many of us, 30 at least, maybe a little more. What do you want us to understand about Ukraine?
To understand about Ukraine.
So the other question they ask is, how can we help? Like you know, what is it? What is it that we can do to help? And what is
okay.
it that, you know, you would want to tell everybody if you could?
So the main request coming from Ukrainians now, I will be straightforward. The main request everybody is asking on Instagram, hashtagging, is to close the sky over Ukraine. But this is the main thing I can tell you, because if the sky is closed, we will handle what is on the ground, what is happening here. We will handle the troops, but it's difficult for us to handle the sky. So that's, and help, of course, it's, I mean, I know a lot of people from the United States. I have friends in the US. I know them helping. We are helping. Everybody is helping with, of course, with money. And yeah, so I guess
I would like
that's
to
what
add something just real quick. So the reason why Ukrainians are asking to close the sky, we have a lot of nuclear plants, as I said. And if those nuclear plants are being hit, that's the end of Europe. That's not just Ukraine, that's the
Yes.
whole Europe. Everybody's going to be impacted. So it's going to be a huge natural catastrophe, not unnatural catastrophe, yes.
Did you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. So it's good.
Hi, Anya. My name is Sean.
hello, Sean.
Okay. Hello. So I've heard propaganda that Ukraine is a country with no culture and no paved roads even, which we know is not true. So I'd just like you to talk a little bit about your life in Kyiv and what was your personal and professional life like before the war?
Okay. So I am a teacher of English, and I used to give private English lessons to people who wanted to master their skills. And I hope I will be able to get back to it. I'm also a photographer. I had students, I gave lessons, I did photo shoots in English, and the people here, they are wonderful, and I miss so much that life that I had. And now you know, sometimes I felt tired. I remember those times I felt tired when I gave 5 lessons a day, but now I would like to give even 10. I would give even 10 lessons a day. I just want everything to be back to normal, because I understand that I will never, that the Kyiv is almost destroyed. And it will never be the same.
I would like to add something. When I haven't been in Ukraine for 11 years. I received a political asylum in 2010. Actually, 2011. It took about a year to collect everything and process everything. And I wasn't able to come back home for 11 years. And I finally came back home, and I've seen a huge improvement. Roads are rebuilt, everything just became closer to how it would look like in a European country of the West. They did so much, they made so much progress, and now all of this is destroyed. And it feels like there is this huge country above you that's just jealous of your progress. Ukraine,
yes.
Yeah.
I would like to add something. Being here in the village and having access to the internet, you're trying to you're trying to read everything, you're trying to analyze everything, you even go to those Russian sources to read what they say about us. And what I found one video of the guy, I guess he's from Kaliningrad region, or well, so what he said that world always loved Ukraine but never loved Russia, and it's their revenge. And he showed it to Russian people who supported this saying. They say that they are hated by the world, and we are loved. It's like two brothers when one is younger and the other one is older. And the older envies the younger because the younger is loved more than the older. That's what I found out about Russian and Ukraine. And you know, as Hala said, Ukraine has a great improvement. What I see, even in these, let's say I came to Kyiv 8 years ago. Even in these 8 years, there has been a huge improvement. When our president came, everything, roads are repaired. Kyiv is completely different from what it was. It's getting better. I mean, the infrastructure is getting better.
So did you live in an apartment in Kyiv?
Yes, I did. I rented an apartment in Kyiv.
Let's allow Michaela on Zoom to ask a question. She's had her hand up. So Michaela, if you want to unmute, you can ask her question.
I appreciate it. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for doing this lecture. To share just a quick second about myself, I am Ukrainian by birth. I was adopted when I was 22 months old, but this hits very close to home because I still feel that that's my heritage. It's where I came from. I have many family and friends who are stuck. They are trapped there. They have no place to go. And so my question for you is, you hear a lot of the different sides where Russians don't want the Ukrainian to go to war. Russians do want to go to war. Ukrainians want this war. Ukrainians don't want this war. So I'm asking, what is your perspective? What do you hear from people in your town, from Kyiv, from higher ups in government, and it's even from the president himself of Ukraine? And that was my question. And thank you so much for doing this lecture. I appreciate it. And we are all praying for you. Our thoughts and prayers are with y'all.
Thank you very much for your question. And about the perspective, we don't see any other perspective except winning this war, because this is the only way out. Only to win the war. Women and children are being evacuated from Kyiv, and the general evacuation is started tomorrow. Our men try to defend their women, to defend their children. They send them to the border, or even they want them to cross the border, but they all stay here. They stay to fight, and they will fight till the end. There is no other way. This is the perspective from ordinary people. Every single person is in Ukraine is ready to fight. We are so united, and the perspective after we win is, I don't know, is united people who fight, who love their country, who build their country together, and we will have a lot to build after the war. But no one wants, everyone wants to fight, to stand till the end and to win this war. I hope I gave an answer to your question.
Adding on to
Yes,
that,
thank you.
I hear all these stories, all these really inspiring stories about these citizens of Ukraine going up to Russian soldiers just with no fear, telling them that they are not welcome in
Mhm.
Ukraine and telling them to go back home. And we hear a lot of stories about platoons just running off into the woods and abandoning their equipment. Going on sort of an uplifting note, how does that help the morale of your situation, knowing that you can really help sending supplies with the courage of your brethren?
Sorry, I don't think I understand you. One.
How
uh,
uplifting is it to hear stories of Ukrainian bravery?
You mean uplifting? You mean rising my I don't know, spirit?
Your mood.
That's
Yes,
Your spirits.
yes. Lifting your
okay.
spirit.
Very uplifting. Actually, that's what we like. We like to watch those videos because we like with people who with civil people, with people from the villages stopping tanks, blocking the way, throwing Molotov's cocktails at them, at tanks, at military vehicles. It's very uplifting. It gives us courage to fight. And if they come here, we will be ready to meet them as our brothers and sisters from other regions did. We will do the same. It's actually what keeps us on. I mean, very uplifting.
Same.
To know
Yeah,
this.
and additionally in addition to that, Russians who are captured, you got to understand that the United States has a voluntary base military, right? So everybody who goes to United States military is a volunteer. Russia is it's draft. It doesn't matter if you want to go or if you don't want to go. If you're 18 years old, you'll go. Ukrainians will defend their country. We have no choice. They will have to shoot back, right? But I myself, I don't know, I cannot have a very, I cannot be happy about it because those kids are dying and they have no choice. If they come back, if they run back to Russia, they will be executed. This is something to understand. So yes, we are very happy about our soldiers lifting our spirits. We're very happy about them being able to do what they do. They're very well trained. They're very respected. Then at the same time, I think the Ukrainian spirit is that we are very forgiving. And I don't know if we will remain forgiving after this. But
Yeah.
this is just heartbreaking because it's not only heartbreaking for Ukraine, it's also heartbreaking for Russia, for Russian people. Because when a captive Russian, untied or anything, is giving a phone to call his mom back, and his mom doesn't believe that he's in Ukraine, that kind of tells you something about the government.
Yes, and there is also such a saying among Ukrainians now. They say Russians fight for their president and Ukrainians fight for their nation. I guess this is the best. These are the best words describing the situation in my country now.
Can you say that quote again?
Russians. Okay, Russians fight for their president and Ukrainians fight for their nation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jim, did you want to ask your question?
Yes, yeah, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Yeah, my question is, do you feel that you have access to reliable information in the way of news, what's going on in your country, what's going on in the rest of the world? And do you feel like you have, that you're hearing from, that you have communication with your national and local leadership? Or is it chaotic right now? And if you do have what you consider good news sources, what are they, please? That's all.
Okay, actually, we all expected chaos, but I have only one source of no, okay, a few sources. One is official sources. We have a list of these sources. If you are interested, I can send the list to Halia. And we check the information there. I have one source on Instagram. It's called Svidomi. If we translate it to English, it will be conscious. I try to be very selective about the information I consume. But what I heard, like I read some news from these official sources. Then I went to my grandmother and I turned on TV and I heard exactly the same. I mean that our news broadcasting on TV are exactly the same what we read from our official sources. That
And to add to that, Ukraine has been at this war for 8 years. It's just the rest of the
Yes.
world didn't really admit that. And not only that Ukrainian military became a lot stronger, Ukraine also formed what is called the cyber police. And they are actively looking for misinformation. They educate people. So Ukrainians are pretty immune, I would say, to misinformation and disinformation.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's an interesting question for you. Are people who are stuck in Ukraine, who can't get out, are they moving around from village to village? Or is it more that people are just staying in bunkers, not going anywhere, and maybe one person goes to shop for several families and comes back in the bunker?
Some people left the biggest cities which were shelled. They left, they tried to leave, they tried to escape on the first day. Those who decided to stay, they hide in the bunkers, in the bomb shelters. I have two friends. One lived in, let's say lives. One lives in Kyiv. She had been in a bunker for 3 days. And yesterday she decided to leave. She left to Lviv. I think they are going to stay in the west of Ukraine. Also, I have one friend from Kharkiv. She has the same situation as this friend in Kyiv, but today in the morning they also left. And people mostly go either to the center of Ukraine and stay there. They go to their friends, or maybe they have relatives. And now it's the time when you can come, for example, you can come to Lviv and you don't have where to stay. People will help you. People will take you to them for free. They will give you shelter. So you either stay in a bunker, in a shelter, bomb shelter, or you go to a small village to the center of Ukraine, or to the west of Ukraine, or you cross the border. These are the options. But Kyiv must be evacuated. I mean, tomorrow children and women must be evacuated from Kyiv. I guess it's obligatory. I guess so. The children and women must leave. But we don't go from family to family. No, we just find one place and that's all. And wait and help with what we can.
Here's another question for you that, so are there any shortages of, you know, anything and are prices rising?
A price is rising. Again, we expected the prices would rise. I tell you what, the conscience of Ukrainians has changed dramatically. I guess these 7 days changed us so much. Before the war started, when we thought about the possibility of that it might start, because as Halia told you, this has been 8 years of war. We thought if the war starts, the prices will rise for gas, for food, for everything. But they don't. Actually, there are two, I know 2 supermarkets that has price rise, but this information is quickly shared on Instagram among people, and people are very strict about it now. And I guess these supermarkets, their work will be over because now it's very serious. When, for example, people complain about the price rise, the work, I mean, if we speak about not about big supermarkets, but about small stores, these small stores will be closed, I guess. So no, actually, no one here wants to raise prices. No one wants to do it. They don't even have this desire to raise prices. People can even give food for free. They know that it's not the time to
It's not the time to make money. Nobody's thinking about it.
No, I told you two supermarkets and they will be closed. It's over for them because people are very serious about it. And we have internet, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. People share it, it gets viral. So yes.
The big shortage right now is boots for military, uniforms, clothes for military. Not most, but all the guys who are joining in right now don't have armor. So the ones who've been in the military for a while, they have armor, helmets and everything. The new ones don't. And for a lot of them, they don't have rifles. They have Molotov cocktails. So there you have it.
Okay, I got another question here. So you talked about how a normal day now includes getting supplies to get them for not the regular soldiers, but the home defense force, right?
And for regular as well.
For regular as well. So
yes, for both.
So they want to know, like, how, you know, how do you get it there? How do you get the supplies, and how do you know who needs them?
Okay, so we have our village council, and they have Facebook page, and today they posted like, we collect food for the army. Please bring everything you can to the village council. We quickly collect everything we have, everything we can give. We have friends with cars. We put it in the car and take it to the village council. And then from the village council, they take it by a big car, by a truck, something like a truck, yes, to Kyiv or to Kharkiv. It's these questions, they are under under the consul's control, I mean, the authorities' control. And the other ways we help, we send money. I send money almost every day. Like people share the information, but again, as Hala told you, Ukrainians are immune to fakes, and we always
Like,
check.
here you call it disinformation. Ukrainians already have a made up word, I guess. It's just DESA because it's short.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
So we are we know from Instagram, from Facebook, people share, people ask for help. It's either money or it's food. For example, some of my friends share stories with the phone numbers. People say, we have food, we can give food to those in need, please call us. This information is shared, and those who need help, they can call. People help with refugees. I started talking about ordinary people, about those who want to.
Oh.
who are
So,
looking for-
but first of all, you're gonna have to tell us if you get tired and, because I have several more questions.
No,
So,
I will answer your question. You know what? Now, being here in a safe place, and other people who are in safe places, we don't feel tired. I mean, if I start feeling tired, I tell myself there are other people under the bombs, under the rockets, under the missiles, and they are not tired. And I cannot be tired, actually.
Yeah,
so
I
you can ask
understand.
questions.
Good. I have several more questions for you.
Okay.
So, limit your answers to like 3 minutes or so for each, so we can
Okay.
go. So I can ask them all. So this person, assuming that international sanctions work and the Ukrainian Defense Forces are victorious, how do you see Ukraine and Russia being able to move forward peacefully or in the future?
We just want the war stopped. We want them out of our land. But now, okay, we are a very peaceful nation, very peaceful, very forgiving nation. But we will never be brothers again. As they used to say that we are brothers, we will never be brothers again. I don't know what it will be. I don't think about it. What every Ukrainian tells you is that we will never be friends. I mean, we will not do bad things to them, but we will never be friends again. I don't know, maybe it will pass. But now, when we are experiencing this, we don't see our future with Russia or with Russians.
So a question that can follow that logically is, so what do you think Russia wants from you? What is it exactly that they want from Ukraine?
Okay, this was the first thing I checked. It was the first thing I don't remember the source, but I guess it was what Putin said, demilitarization and the denationalization, Hala.
Denazification.
Yeah, denazification and demilitarization. Yes, they just want us to be. We think Putin hates Ukraine. He wants us to be, as they say, Malorossi. It's like little Russians. Yes, they don't want our country to exist. That's what they want from us. They want to take our nationality
answered
away.
the question. That's exactly. So, do you believe that troops coming in from other countries would help, or would it make things worse?
That's an interesting question. because actually I think it will help. Oh, yes, everyone here thinks about the possibility, let's say, there is the other side, that if other comes to our country, the war will be the world war, but it actually already is, because they are trying, let's say they are targeting everything. It's chaos. They try to shoot any facilities, and they don't look either it's a nuclear plant or I don't know, or something else very important. So if something like that happens here in Ukraine, it will influence all countries, and Putin will not stop. That's what we understood. He will not stop if we don't stop him, and in this we need help. So I guess I would say that it will help more than do bad.
Yeah. So here's an interesting question. Could you tell us your thoughts about President Zelensky?
My thoughts.
Yes.
My own thoughts, or he is a brave man, and he has changed a lot. He became a very he became a hero, actually. He didn't leave our country. He's leading it, and Ukrainians appreciate it. There were many people who didn't like him elected to this post, but now I guess almost all Ukrainians changed their point of view. Now, as we say, as many people say, as we say, he's for now he's the best that we ever had. So that's my thought about my president. Now everyone loves our president, at least everyone who is here.
So let me back that up. So when he was elected, he was from, I think 70% is what I so that's already a lot of people that like. What was the appeal like? Because 70% is a lot. Like so what was it that appealed to people back then?
These 70% that just wanted to have a change, to have, our president, he was different from all those politicians coming to this post, and he was different. He was like a man he was an ordinary man, one from us, from simple people, and people trusted him and they wanted a change. So that's why there was 70 or 75%.
I think Camille, Camila, do you have a question? Do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, I wanted to ask how education has been impacted there by this, specifically in elementary school age kids, and how you guys are handling that. If anyone is working with them, I know you said that women and children are leaving the city tomorrow, but have they set up any groups to help with that? And are you concerned about the path that education is taking?
Now children don't have lessons. You just can't have lessons. But these tests, each at the end of every year we have this independent testing. Senior classes have it 11th and 9th, and I know that for 9th classes it's cancelled. I didn't hear this about the 11th, about the senior class, but for the 9th it's canceled. And now children don't have lessons at all because it's impossible. It's impossible to have a lesson from a bunker.
I just wanted to
Unfortunately.
say just one more thing before this ended, and I just wanted to say that that I really appreciate you helping us with on the ground information. You are part of the war effort, and you are definitely going to be a historical figure. And I just want to say that my spirit is with Ukraine right now, and Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Amen to that.
Дякую.
Okay,
Thank you
here's
very
a-
much. I appreciate these words.
Oh. Yes, okay, here's another question. One more and then we'll see what we'll do. On social media, they're talking about children getting separated from their parents. I think that's at the border, what they were showing something like that. Is that true? And if so, what are people doing to reunite them with their family?
Actually, what I heard, and what I read, this is the only case they are separated is when parents are killed. And in other cases, children stay with their parents. But when the parents get killed, then today was such a situation in Kharkiv. A woman gave birth to twins and she was shot together with her husband. And the information about these twins got viral and everybody was asking, there are two little angels, they need a family, who can take them? And I guess it took 3 hours. And a woman who was monitoring it, she told that the family had been found for these kids. That's what I know, that's what I read, that's what I see. And you see a lot because people share everything. It's like one big Ukraine. You're here, but you see everything. People share, people help, people do everything they can. Even this just miraculous situation, this miraculous case with these two twins who found their family. They are lost, their mother and father, but they found another family with big hearts.
So what,
Yes.
I think, any more questions?
Michaela has.
Oh, yeah, so let that be the last question and then.
Dr. Kristen, can you just mention that Ukrainian president, for example, makes only $11,000 a year, just to kind of give an idea of how much money people make.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, in that quick video, we're gonna see that the average income is $3,700.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the median income is, that's. So,
And that's a year, it's not a month.
Wow.
yeah,
Do Ukrainians have access to like ammunition and things to defend themselves if something were to happen?
well, so the question was, do Ukrainians have access to ammunition?
They don't have direct access to ammunition. Mhm. Territory defense give ammunition to those who want to join. But if you ask about, are you also asking about guns, rifles?
Anything to defend yourself?
Well, yeah, yes. So I mean, the short answer would be yes and not enough. Like so like they're giving out guns to everybody who wants them, but there are a lot more people that want guns that. So
Yeah, yes.
There is some.
They're also like mass producing Molotov cocktails,
Right, but we're talking like, that is the problem, is that not enough, there just isn't enough, and those anti-tank missiles, there aren't enough, they have some, So like, I hope that the Europeans are bringing stuff there. Oh, that's one more question. Like, have you heard anything? Do you know if the Europeans are bringing something across the border, like it, you know, are there rumors or is there information if something is coming in already?
Yes, it's not rumors. It's not rumors. Estonia helps us. Estonia, Turkey, with Bayraktars. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Poland, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But no, it's not rumors. No, it's not rumors.
So but like, you know, that they have crossed the border and they are in Ukraine trying to deliver, you know, give it to the Ukrainian soldiers.
They don't tell us the information like they crossed the border. They just tell us that they sent this ammunition, this military. What should I? Okay.
Yeah.
So they sent it, but they don't mention they crossed the border or whatever. I just know that we receive volunteers from other countries who may help, who can help, and who want to help.
All right, well, thank you. So we're gonna show a video. You can watch it. It's a short video. It's not perfect. Don't get, like Galina already said, oh, it's not, but it's kind of good to like give people background about, you know, like it goes back in history to the 10th century. And like, I hope for some reason, somehow we talk again. That
Me too, I hope.
And
I believe we will talk again.
Yeah, it just, yeah, I don't hang out with Galina all the time either. So, but unfortunately, like it's an
Only when
unfortunate
there's a
situation,
crisis,
but it's nice.
Something's like-
Only when there's a crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, did you want to say something or?
I actually, one of Gulf Coast, I don't know if I can put you on a spot. Can I put you on a spot? Yeah, okay. She's also from Ukraine, and I think it's really hard to kind of explain to people that it's not just gonna, you know, if Ukraine falls, it's gonna be Europe, it's West, and Russia, like the Russian president just does not like the United States. So it's not just gonna stop at Ukraine if Ukraine falls. I just want you to understand that. This is not just something that you know, that you guys can laugh about. Also, to understand that the reason why Ukrainians cannot just leave is because the money issue. You know, Ukrainians don't make as much money. They work with each other, they help each other, and that's how people survive. Also, on that note, I also wanted to tell you guys, you live in a free country for now. So please make sure that it stays that way. This information is a real thing, and it's not just going to bypass you. It's not bypassing anybody. FBI already does research on what disinformation has been spread to American people, how you guys have been affected, because it's gonna poison minds, and it's gonna get in there. We already know about the guy who was chanting Putin in Orlando.
No,
You know,
where?
Fuentes.
What?
Fuentes. Yes,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh.
his crowd.
All right.
And also anything that, when it comes to far right, far left, in my opinion, it's not so much about far right, far left, communists, Nazis. It's about totalitarianism, and it's about tyranny. Once you allow tyranny to get to you, then it's really hard to get rid of it. Also, I don't know if they take me, but I'm joining the United States Army.
Wow.
Wow, thank you. Holy moly.
Thank you.
So before Before, we're gonna show the video, Professor Brennan's gonna come down here, he's got a project going on that he'll tell you real quick, if you wanna basically help out refugees.
Yeah, so I thought about the question of what can we do after getting some information and becoming a little emotionally invested in the knowledge that you gain from something like this prompts us to action. And I thought of 3 types of action and invite you to consider that these are things that you can do, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're rich or poor, these are all easily accessible. And the first is send cash. It sounds tacky, but for the international groups and for the relief agencies that are trying to purchase wheat and salt and munitions and supplies in uncertain regions, cash talks, cash has power. And on this flyer, I provided you 2 international agencies that are in Poland. The Humanitarian Action, I'm going to throw my glasses to read. The Polish Humanitarian Action and the Polish Center for International Aid. Poland is a huge border with Ukraine, and they're receiving lots of refugees, and they're handing out so many supplies, and they're trying to make it as smooth as possible. Cash lubricates those wheels. But we also have refugees who are not in Eastern Europe, and they don't look like Eastern European. They look like people from Southern Mexico. They look like people from Southern California, and they've been struggling with escaping violence and uncertainty and danger and real harm. And a big part of their challenge is trying to make their voices heard, trying to get through the wall of noise. So we have groups in the Episcopal Church that I'm the most familiar with that are to set up for Episcopal Migration Ministries and Episcopalian Relief and Development. If you go to their websites, you'll see pictures of African people, you'll see people of Afghanistan, you'll see Syria, and you'll remember that there are these unfolding human disasters even as we speak. And there's room there to take action. And what I can do with the church connection that I have is the history club that I'm a part of and that Lisa's a part of. We're collecting, and we know from experience that we can always use toiletries. So if you've got tons of those little bottles of shampoo and soap and razors, and you still have the bars of soap that are in the wrappings from last time that you stayed all weekend at the Red Roof Inn. So that's where I could, if you could, last time you stayed up, bring those things to us. Bring socks of all sizes, baby socks, adult socks. Socks are always welcome. Toiletries. Bring those to us. We'll store them in my office. There's plenty of room. And when there's not, I'll find another place to store it. And right before spring break, we'll see if we can raise and make some amenities. School supplies. If you have a binder of lined paper, pencils, markers. I'm not really excited about books and workbooks because I don't know English is the language of the people that we're trying to reach. But every school kid needs paper and pen. So those are the things that we're thinking about. And then the last thing, and as she said, remember you're a free country. So I thought it'd be important to remember that you can reach out and contact your congressman. And you can tell them this isn't a Democrat issue, this is a Republican issue, and I'll vote with my dollars. Let's keep those sanctions, let's increase the pressure. And I can see the price of gas rise a little bit more before I'm so uncomfortable. But let them know that when they're in Congress and they're talking about sanctions and do we want to go further, do we want to go harder? And let them know that you're willing to, that you'll put some skin in the game and back them up when they want to increase sanctions or maintain sanctions. All that's available on this flyer. It's not a very fancy flyer. Not a fancy flyer, but it does have all of the necessary links on it, and I hope that you'll find that useful.
Yeah, that's what I was. It did this to me for me. I think copy and paste it in different browsers.
Can you send that flyer to us, please? A lot of people are posting their emails.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I can do that.
Screenshot it.
If you can't post it in the Zoom, like maybe one of the professors can forward it around just so we can share it.
Or if there's like a public forum on campus or something like that.
Now, these
Anything
materials
within-
that you're collecting, these materials are going over to the people of Ukraine, or are they staying locally within our community?
No,
That's
they're-
a great question, and it speaks to, I didn't want to bring up so much that we're not doing Ukraine. I don't want to deflect anything from Ukraine. But if you're going to send toiletries and school supplies to Ukraine, I think you're throwing money down the drain. They've got school supplies, they've got resources, they just need to marshal them, get them there in Eastern Europe. But we have people here who are struggling to get their kids into classes, get lessons, get socks on their feet, get toiletries. And so while you're thinking about refugees and dislocation, it's a time that you could make a contribution to some suffering closer to home. Does that answer your question? So I'm saying no on Ukraine.
Yes, no, completely understandable.
So this is, it takes you through the whole history of Ukraine from the beginning, when the Vikings come down the river in the 9th century, all the way to today. And it's really what, it just goes jump. It covers everything. It covers Holodomor, the famine imposed by Stalin towards the end. And it's very objective. It's not bashing anybody. It's not saying Russia's evil. So I really liked it, and so we'll watch that, and then we're done. Those of you who are either from Professor Brandon's class or my class, sign up here, and then if you're in another professor's class, sign up here, and I'll make sure I get it to them. Unless you have to write something for them. Okay.
All week, you've heard numerous answers to this question. In Ukraine, 71% of the people believe their country is already at war with Russia. This is a conflict of rights. And all the answers are hidden in history. Did you know that at the time of Kiev was more powerful than Moscow? There was also a time when Ukraine and America were adversaries. Tonight, we bring you all these stories. We will tell you why Russian President Vladimir Putin is obsessed with Ukraine. And Falki Sharma Upadhyay, this is Gravitas Plus. To begin, in the 9th century, there was a state called Kievan Rus. This is where it was located. The Slavic people lived here. The city of Kiev was their capital. Between 980 and 1015, the Kievan Rus was ruled by Grand Prince Volodymyr. In Russian, his name is Vladimir. In Ukrainian, Volodymyr. And as fate would have it, these are also the names of the presidents of these two countries today. Anyway, Russian, Ukrainians, and Belarusians draw their lineage from this Slavic state. A lot changed in the centuries that followed, and for a lot of it, Ukraine was under Russian rule. In the 1900s, the two were Soviet republics. Russia, the most powerful of the 15 republics, and Ukraine, the second most powerful. It had defense industries, large agricultural lands, and housed much of the Soviet nuclear arsenal. During the Cold War, Ukraine was the arch rival of the United States. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Ukraine became independent, as did Russia. Ukraine inherited much of Soviet nuclear arsenal, but gave it up to Russia in 1994. In exchange, Moscow guaranteed Ukraine's security and promised to respect its sovereignty. They signed the Budapest Memorandum along with these countries. Up to November 2013, Viktor Yanukovych was the president of Ukraine. He had a reputation for heavy-handedness, corruption, and above all, for being openly pro-Moscow. In 2013, he rejected an EU trade deal. This deal could have meant greater integration with the European Union. Instead, Yanukovych decided to take a $15 billion bailout from Russia. To many Ukrainians, it felt like being sold to Moscow. So protests broke out. They were called Euromaidan. Euro, because these protests were about Europe. And Maidan, because they happened in Kiev's Maidan.
You see this black box right here? Well, I'm going to show you something right now. Some people are concerned that they might have to go.
What we today know as the Independence Square. Here, protesters chanted, sign the EU deal, Yanukovych must step down. Russia supported the president, the West supported the protesters. In February 2014, Yanukovych's government was toppled, the president was driven out of Ukraine, he fled to Russia. Not every Ukrainian was happy with this. Many in the Russian-speaking East wanted Yanukovych to stay. When he was driven out, the minority felt disenfranchised. On the other side of the border, Russia was angry it had lost its puppet. To salvage the situation, Moscow annexed Crimea. Why Crimea? Let's now zoom into this part of the world. Crimea is a peninsula. It is located in the Black Sea. In 1954, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev transferred Crimea. It was given to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic from the Russian Soviet Socialist Republic. Why? Khrushchev hoped the transfer of strengthened brotherly ties between Ukrainian and Russian people. Both Russia and Crimea were part of the Soviet Union. So this transfer did not mean very much. When Ukraine became independent in 1991, Crimea joined it. The peninsula was given special autonomy. It remained home to Russian military bases. Moscow promised to respect Crimean autonomy. Many in Russia were of the opinion that Crimea should not have been allowed to join Ukraine. In 2014, when Yanukovych was ousted from power in Ukraine, Russian military began seizing government buildings in Crimea. So the entire peninsula was under military occupation. A referendum followed. On the 16th of March 2014, Crimeans voted to become a part of Russia. Was this vote legitimate? It depends on who you ask. For Putin, this was Crimea's liberation. For the rest of the world, this was Crimea's annexation. The focus then shifted to eastern Ukraine, where Russia-backed separatists had seized territory. Ukrainian forces did not launch an all-out offensive at first, but on the 17th of July 2014, when a flight carrying 298 people was shot down by these rebels, Ukrainian forces decided to flush out the rebels. The separatists began losing ground, so the Russian army stepped in. They invaded eastern Ukraine and fought alongside the rebels. What followed was a series of talks between Russia, Ukraine, and the West. They resulted in the Minsk Accords. This was first signed in 2014. Both sides agreed on ceasefire and military withdrawal. Ukraine agreed to hold elections in the rebel-held areas. 8 years on, the Minsk Accords remain unimplemented. Ukraine stands as the largest European country excluding Russia. It covers an area of more than 600,000 square kilometers with a population of 44 million and a GDP of more than $155 billion. Per capita income, more than $3,700. Today, Ukraine is divided between East and West in more ways than one. The West sees itself as more European. The East is closer to Russia, be it in terms of geography or sentiment. In the West, most Ukrainians speak Ukrainian. In the East, a third are native Russians. In the West, Russia is looked at with suspicion. In the East, Russia is looked at through the lens of shared history and heritage. Ukraine also remains at war. Its forces are fighting the rebels in the East. Rebel leaders are ruling at least two regions, Donetsk and Luhansk. Together, they are known as the Donbas region. Russia has once again sent its troops. This time, they're stationed right at the border. What does Vladimir Putin want? For NATO to stop expanding. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's a military alliance. These countries are the founding members of NATO. These countries joined it during the Cold War, and these countries joined after it. Ukraine wants to join NATO too, but Putin wants NATO to exclude Ukraine and every former Soviet state. And this is just half the story. Like I said, a lot is hidden in history. For starters, there is domestic politics. When Putin annexed Crimea, his approval rating skyrocketed. Keeping the nationalistic drum rolling helps the Russian president. Annexing parts of Ukraine also helps Putin restore Russia's superpower image. Again, back to history. Many Russians view Ukraine's independence as a mistake. It is true that Ukraine was ruled by Russia. In fact, Ukraine has barely remained independent pre-1991. There was a brief period before World War I, and then another stint in 1600. For the rest of its modern history, Ukraine was under Russia. 1 in 6 Ukrainians is an ethnic Russian. 1 in 3 speaks Russian as a native language. So Putin is right when he says historically they were one. But claiming Ukraine on the basis of colonial history is wrong. It will be like Britain claiming India, or South Africa, or Spain claiming the Philippines. Past imperialisms cannot justify present-day expansionism. Here's what else history tells us. Ukraine was forcefully Russified. Cut to 1700, Russian leader Catherine the Great started Russifying Ukraine. Ethnic Russians were shipped to this part of the world. Schools were told to teach Russian language. By 1800, the Ukrainian language was banned. In 1930, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin steered a famine in Ukraine. Millions of Eastern Ukrainians were killed. The area was then repopulated with ethnic Russians. In the 1940s, the ethnic Tatars were relocated. They too were replaced with Russians. There is a reason why Eastern Ukraine today has so many native Russian speakers. It was designed to be that way. Eastern Ukraine was always dear to Russia. It has coal, it's iron, fertile land, its historical connection with Russia was forced. Putin time and again talks about the holy roots. He says Russians and Ukrainians are one people. 70% Ukrainians reject this thought. 72% consider Russia a hostile state. Today, 33.3% Ukrainians are ready to take up arms against Russia. 21.7% are ready to stage a civil resistance against Russia. 67% Ukrainians want to join the EU. 59% want to join the NATO. Meet the current Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. He came to power in 2019 following a landslide victory. He's a vocal critic of Russia. Zelensky openly opposes Russian occupation of Eastern Ukraine. 73% of Ukrainian voters voted this man to power. Today, Volodymyr Zelensky represents the pulse of Ukraine, the Ukraine that wants to remain independent of Russia. But Vladimir Putin wants to become the man who revived Russian imperialism. He does not realize the world has moved on.